All right, good day, everyone. Okay, let me just admit some other participants. But I guess everyone has at least seen the overview of our organization, the Space Generation Advisory Council. We'll have more of that probably later, or we'll perhaps provide more details about SJC at the end of this webinar if we still have time. So happy World Space Week, everyone, to all our participants and guests from the Philippines and from other parts of the world. Welcome to our Space Career Pathways webinar. I am Reynel A. Hinojosa, the national point of contact for the Philippines, and I will be your moderator for today's event. And before I turn things over to our invited panel members, let me walk you through with our program. First, we'll have the discussion on some house rules, and then our panelists will share a few slides about their academic and professional background, as well as the scholarship or grants they've had in order to pursue their careers in the space sector. Then we'll proceed with the panel discussions. After that, an information session on the ADASR scholarship program will be facilitated by the Philippine Space Agency's Space Education and Scholarships Division. Finally, we will have our closing and group photo at the end. For the house rules, please rename your names to this format: affiliation underscore full name, or example, SJC underscore Juan de la Cruz. So participants are expected to give their full attention while the webinar is ongoing. The time for Q&A will be allotted at the end of all presentations or during the panel discussions. The medium of the presentation or discussions will be in English and or Filipino. For social media posts, please use our hashtags World Space Week 2023, hashtag Space for PH, hashtag Space Career Pathways PH, hashtag SJC, hashtag Join the Mission, and hashtag Kwentong Pilsa Scholar. For networking opportunities, please contact the organizer or the national point of contacts for the Philippines. We have Mr. Harley Kizagan at harley.kizagan@spacegeneration.org. And yours truly at radar.inojosa spacegeneration.org. Here is the order of presentation for our panel members. We will start with our JICA JAXA Nest scholar, Mr. John Paul B. Almonte, to be followed by the Step Up scholar, Mr. Derek B. Canceran, and then our PhilSA Adastra scholars, Mr. Dave Emmanuel Zuniga and Mr. Angelo Velasco. And finally, our foreign graduate scholar from BOST-SEI, Dr. Mark Angelo C. Urio. Right? So before we begin, may I ask Mr. John Paul Almonte to please turn on your camera? Yes. Thank you. So, okay. Mr. Almonte, please take it away.
Yes. So hello everyone. So my name is John Paul Almonte. You can just call me JP. So I just recently graduated from Kyushu Institute of Technology in Japan under Electrical and Space Systems Engineering. So back in 2018, I received my Bachelor of Science in Electronics and Communications from UP Diliman. And then while I was in the university, I was also part of the wireless communications lab, where I focused on antenna designs for the Diwata-1 microsatellite. So before going for master's 2 years ago, in 2021, I was a researcher at the STEPA project, or Space Science and Technology Proliferation through University Partnerships, or STEPA project of the Stamina for Space program. So while I was there, I was tasked with amateur ground station operations, satellite payload, and ground station kit development. So next slide, please. So my scholarship is under the Japan International Cooperation Agency, or JICA. So this is entitled Human Resources Development and Space Technology Utilization for SDGs. So this is a master's and doctoral program aimed at government organizations or universities on space technology utilization. So as mentioned before, I was part of the Stamina for Space program, which was a project under the UST and implemented by UP. So that's why I was offered this scholarship. So this scholarship is also in partnership with JAXA and then other Japanese universities. For my case, it was Kyushu Institute of Technology in Kitakyushu, Japan. So the main goal of this scholarship is to deepen understanding of space technology utilization for SDGs and then enhance capacity building in target countries such as the Philippines, and to strengthen the resources or resource network, human resource network on space technology among target countries and Japan. So the scholarship is a full scholarship, which includes tuition fees, living allowance, round trip airfare, research budget, and other extra allowances. So next slide, please. So during my time in QTech, so I was part of the Space Engineering International course or SEIC. So during my studies there, we they offered us classes related to space systems engineering, space science, and space environment testing, entirely taught in English. Under the program, you were also given the chance to join satellite projects. For my case, I joined 3 satellite projects. So one is Micro Orbiter, which was the first one. Next one is Kitsune Satellite, which I participate in ground station operations, and then Vertex, which is astronomical satellite in partnership with JAXA and the university. So also under the scholarship, I was part of the JJNest network or JICA JAXA network for utilization of space technology. So with this, we had regular meetings with JAXA and other scholars about space developments in Japan. So we also had immersions at JICA and JAXA offices. So we toured around the facilities of JAXA, for example, in Tsukuba Space Center and also in Chofu. So under the JJNS program, also we had network seminars where we talked with private space industries in Japan for future collaborations, and also with other scholars of JICA, not only in the space sector. So that is all for my scholarship. Thank you, Ino.
Thank you, Mr. Almonte. And now we'll have Mr. Derek E. Canceran.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So I am Derek B. Canceran. So before I started my space journey, I received my undergraduate degree from the University of the Philippines. So I took uh, a Bachelor of Science in Applied Physics, and I graduated in 2018. And during my last years, I was a member of the Instrumentation Physics Laboratory and did research in interdisciplinary computational physics. So with by joining with this laboratory, I got my training in theoretical, computational, and experimental physics, which proved to be essential in my space journey. So next slide, please. About my scholarship. So my scholarship was under the DOST-STI Step Up Scholarship, which is co-implemented by the Step Up project. So this project aimed to utilize the gains from the PhilMicrosat program, which gears towards building local capacity building environments by interdisciplinary collaboration with the academe, industry, and government agencies. So the program also created 4 Maya satellites, 2 for each batch, Maya 3, Maya 4, 5, and 6. This also included a sandwich program in Japan in collaboration with the Kyushu Institute of Technology. So this sandwich program provided us space environment training, satellite final assembly, and flight model tests. The scholarship also included full tuition, monthly stipend, research allowance, which is similar to the DOST SEI ERDT scholarship. Next slide, please. So after my development work of the Maya satellite, we operated them during their mission lifetime in space. And aside from that, we presented reports and talks of their of the analysis of the data that they gathered. I also participated in knowledge transfer activities, such as presenting talks on my experiences in CubeSat development and subsystem design. And I also supported future batches of Maya developers. That's all for me. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Derek. We'll hear more of your stories later during the Q&A session or the panel discussions. Now let's proceed with Mr. Dave Emmanuel Jason Liga.
Uh, Hello everyone, I am Dave, and before I go to my academic background, I just want to introduce myself and who I am. So I am a naturally curious person and I dream of flying and making my own flying machine po talaga. So that's why I took my undergraduate course, BS Aeronautical Engineering. Uh, and I was and I graduated last May 2022, 2020. So I became licensed last December 2022 and I took internships while going at it. And one particular training that launched me into my space career is the uh, virtual internship training program of the Star Surat company. So moving forward, next slide, please. So I am under the Adastra scholarship, and for the first six bullets, we are all these are all about the financial help that we received to in pursuit of our studies. So the Ad Astra scholarship aims to encourage and proliferate the human element of the space sector in our country. So we received our tuition, our book allowance, our stipend, and technological support. And uh, uh, aside from this, we also have our mentoring and support program, which I think is the most important as we interact with uh, people who have undergone previous satellite projects, and we get to uh, talk with them on knowledge transfers and best practices that we can apply in our project, which will be in the next slide. So currently, I am a student in UP Diliman, taking up Masters of Engineering in Electrical Engineering, Nanosatellite Engineering. So some details about this course is that it's a tailored course in mastering the cube satellite bus following the Maya and Bird's lineages. And we are studying the interface records and previous uh, projects that went through under the Philippine satellite program. So part of our academic deliverable is the cube satellite development outputs that we pass every milestone that we go. So this uh, program is under the Access Nanosatellite project as well. So I am the structural subsystems lead, and we have regular meetings with PhilSA mentors uh, and other scholars about the future to use CubeSat that we're doing, and we call it Maya 7. So we have hands-on activities in designing, building, and testing the 2U CubeSat in collaboration with the Nanosatellite Mission Idea Contest winners. So as mentioned, we have mentoring session with PhilSA personnel. That's it for me.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Suniga. Before we continue, may I ask all attendees to please type in your questions in the chat box so that we'll have that later. I'll read them later during our panel discussions. Okay, so to continue, let's have Mr. Angelo Ryan S. Velasco.
Good morning, everybody. I am Angelo Ryan S. Velasco. I am currently taking up Masters of Science in Satellite Data for Sustainable Development here in University of Strathclyde in Glasgow, United Kingdom. I have started my studies back in January 2023, and I'm currently at my second semester already. I received my Bachelor's of Science in Aviation Information Technology from the Philippine State College of Aeronautics in 2019. My degree is a mixture of both the aviation and information technology field. I worked as a science research specialist at the Space Science and Technology Proliferation through University Partnerships, or the STEPA project of the Stamina for Space program, tasked to support the development on satellite frequency coordination, advanced publication information submission, and procurement of satellite components. I am also an active student, early career associate, or second member of the American Society for Gravitational and Space Research since 2021. My scholarship is similar with Dave. It's also the PhilSA Ad Astra scholarship, I will not go into much detail about this as this will be explained later on by the Philippine Space Agency. But before I was accepted as a scholar, I took part of the mentorship program of PhilSAC, where I was selected as one of the mentees. And then I was matched with a mentor, which guided me during my early stages of pursuing a postgraduate career or study in space. Next slide, please. This is about my space career and current engagements. Again, I'm studying at the University of Strathclyde. I'm under the Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering faculty. The modules that I'm currently taking up are dedicated to mechanical engineering, rocketry, and space studies. There are also opportunities to be part of various societies and organizations under the faculty, such as the Strathclyde Aerospace Innovation Society, Students Exploration and Development of Space, and there's also Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering Students Association. The training and participation on space flight systems and space flight mechanics are offered under the faculty. My current engagements are the following. One, I got accepted to participate in the incubation program and propose a solution for the 2023 Space-Based Challenge in New Zealand. I am currently a student affiliate at the Royal Aeronautical Society in London, United Kingdom. And recently, I launched a startup. It's called Mugen in October 2023 for satellite data acquisition and analysis. So that's for my space career. Thank you.
Thank you, Jello. For the last panel member, we have Dr. Mark Achigapur. Sir Mark.
Hi, good afternoon. I am Mark Angelo Purio. I'm currently a faculty member at Adamson University and the head of the Space Technologies and Applications Research Laboratory. Next slide, please. For my background, I graduated. I finished my BS and MS Electronics and Communications Engineering from Batangas State University and De La Salle University, respectively. I'm also currently taking Masters of Arts in Education in Adamson University. I just recently finished my PhD in Space Engineering International course from Kyushu Institute of Technology. You will notice that almost all of my studies are sponsored by the Department of Science and Technology of different types of scholarship programs. Next slide, please. So space engineering started for me when I got sponsored by the Department of Science and Technology to attend a 2-year small satellite mission short course in India. And from there, the space engineering journey started for me. Next slide, please. For my scholarship, it's the Department of Science and Technology Science Education Institute Foreign Graduate Scholarship Program with the following scholarship privileges. So just like the other scholarships from the government, it covers school fees, learning materials and connectivity allowance, thesis and dissertation allowance, and transportation allowance. Next slide, please. Pre-departure expenses, and among others, monthly stipend and living allowance, relocation allowance, and health accident insurance. Next slide, please. So we were able to go to Japan to pursue and study PhD in Space Engineering International course. This is under the Stamina for Space program. The goal is, with the scholarship, is for us to build the first inter-university cube satellite of the Philippines, which is Maya-2, through the Stamina for Space project, and at the same time, pursue PhD in Space Engineering International course. Next slide, please. So we are 3 recipients of this scholarship. This is just a photo of us starting our PhD journey, and the last photo, the photo that we had, that we are complete. Next slide, please. So this is my photo before, upon arrival to Japan in 2018, and then after I finished, I finished my PhD in Japan. So next slide, please. So my experience in Japan, my friends think that I've been traveling around, experiencing the seasons, but actually, next slide, please. We're doing space engineering projects and mostly satellite development projects in Kyushu Institute of Technology under the Laboratory of Lean Satellite Enterprises and in-orbit experiments. So in this university, I was able to take part not only of the Birds 4 project, but also other satellite projects done in the universities, such as Kitsune Satellite Project, Micro Orbiter Satellite Project, and Curtis. So this is just a photo. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is just a photo of me doing my work as a payload designer for camera mission and also board designer for several missions in the Bird Satellite Project and also the backplane board design. So some photos of me doing, in action. Next slide, please. So of course, I just recently graduated this March 2023. Next slide, please. And when I returned in my university here in Adamson University, we were able to provide space-related webinars in celebration of the Philippine Space Week. Next slide, please. We also have speaking engagements for different agencies and organizations with more than 1,000 professionals and student reach, including, next slide, please, universities in different parts of the country, wherein more than 600 students were reached. Next slide. We also were able to do CubeSat development classes related to CubeSat development. So under the SEDS-PH Upskill Group and also the Space Generation Advisory Council, SEPG Achieved Academy. Next slide, please. So these are some of the classes that we hold. These are informal classes that we allow our students to go through the process of learning satellite development and satellite data processing online. Next slide, please. Also, we included a space engineering track under the electronics engineering department so that we were able to reach more students to be able to understand satellite engineering, space systems engineering, and other space-related activities and technologies which they might like. Next slide, please. So to compensate, to support the space engineering work in my university, we established the Space Engineering Lab in Adamson University. We call it STAR Laboratory, Space Technologies and Applications Research Lab. Next slide, please. We are still in the initial phases of the development of the laboratory, and before the year ends, we will put the equipment in related to satellite ground station operations, remote sensing, and geoscience. Finally, we are able to also conduct other activities such as assistance in technical reviews. For example, Maya 7 Satellite Development Project. We also help out through outreach. Example, the rapid impact assessment of oil spill in Pola and Calapan in Oriental Mindoro. And also we take in senior high school students for a short-term immersion so that they can learn about space technology in brief. I think that's all for my presentation. Thank you.
Sorry, that was me. Thank you, Dr. Mark, for your presentation. And that's all for the panel members' background. At this point, may I ask all panelists or panel members to please turn on your camera so our audience can see you. We'll proceed now with the panel discussion portion. And to our attendees, please be reminded to please key in your questions in the chat box so I can relay them to our panel members. I have provided here a 20-minute countdown timer for us to be guided since we have a limited time for this webinar. Please bear with us since the time allocated for us is only 1 hour. Okay, let's see some questions here. Okay, so while waiting for the questions of our attendees, let me have my first question. So to all our panel members, maybe we can start with Mr. Almonte, then let's have Mr. Panseran, then be followed by Dave, Jello, and then Doc. Okay, so the first question is what inspires you to pursue a career in space? So let's have Mr. Almonte.
Yes. So personally, the inspiration that I had to pursue space is from my father. So back then, I was always very interested if there's something out there, like in space. So it's more on that sci-fi stuff. But the how to say this? The main thing personally for me that inspired me to do space technology is the complexity of the system of building systems that are brought to space that can actually help us in our day-to-day lives. For example, for GPS and so on. So it's very, very mababaw na rason lang for me. Honestly.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Almonte. Let's have Mr. Derek.
Hello. For me naman, since I was kid, I was really explorative and so yun, interested talaga ako sa science and technology. Alam niyo yung yung mga sineskwela dati. Hindi ako manood dun. And when the opportunity came na there were uh, there that the Stamina for Space program was looking for scholars for the Maya CubeSat development program. So I was really interested and I was excited to join the team. So yun yung story behind my inspiration.
Okay, thanks, Sir Derek. I think maraming makaka-relate dyan, no? So, siniskwela inspiration mo, no? So, I think let's have Mr. Dave.
Hello. So what inspires me to pursue the space career is well, the fascination sa workings ng mga technology na launch sa space. So similar to Sir Franceran, mahilig din ako sa mga documentaries sa Nat Geo, sa sineskwela na magpapakita ng workings ng isang planet, ng isang launch vehicle. So mostly it's the fascination and curiosity. And one thing na naalala ko din sa space program ng NASA sa Jet Propulsion Lab is to their mighty things. So I think yun yung isa sa driving force na meron ako. So just to give an insight, medyo mahirap din talaga yung career pero nandun yung pursuit ng passion. So that's what pursuit drives me.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Saniga. Let's have Mr. Jello.
Okay. My curiosity in space started when I first watched or read about the moon landing. Then ever since, becoming an astronaut became my pipe dream. Pero there were far better goals than becoming an astronaut, and that is to pursue a career in space na hindi naman technically kailangan leading to you becoming an astronaut. Kagaya ko na hindi naman sound in engineering, ginamit ko yung other skills ko to apply for a position in the Stamina for Space program. And Actually, they offered me a position that is both half technical and half administrative. And during my time as a researcher in the Stamina for Space, I got inspired by my colleagues who are working full time on technical development and stuff. So they were somehow teaching me how to do those stuff. And when I applied for the mentorship program of PhilSA, I learned a lot from them. And then nagbunga naman siya ng maganda since I got accepted in the mentorship program. And right now, I am still learning a lot from them kasi tinuturoan pa rin nila ako even now na nandito na ako sa industry.
Okay, thanks, Sir Mr. Velasco. And lastly, let's have Dr. Rubio.
For my case, I think I'm just fulfilling a childhood dream. When I was young, I want to be an astronaut and a doctor, but I want to be a medical doctor. But hitting two birds at the same time, being in space technology and being a doctor, allows me to fulfill that dream. But looking back, I already have forgotten that dream. It's just that in 2017, like I presented, it just was rekindled by me joining a space satellite mission course in India. So, and then when I went to Japan to study, I felt like the electronics engineering degree that I had allowed me to make use of the skills I learned from there and use it in satellite development projects where I'm part of during my stay in Japan. So, yeah, I think there is a point in your life wherein there are transitions, and I think in 2017 that transition from being an electronics engineer to a space engineer took place. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rubio. Okay, let's have a question from our attendees. So we have a question from Paul Anthony Cordova. So I think this is for all the panel members. What do you think are we doing now to develop space technology and space science for the Philippines? So again, what do you think are we doing now to develop space technology and space science for the Philippines? So who wants to answer? Or okay, I think let's just follow the same order. I think let's have Mr. Almonte.
Right. So I think this is common knowledge for all of us now in this panel. So the space activities, can you reiterate the question a bit, Sorry. Just
What
making
do you
sure tama
think
yung
are we
natin, no?
doing now to develop space technology and space science in the Philippines?
Okay. So if napansin nyo with the past, with our slides, na-mention na yung Stamina for Space program, and then we have VDOS scholarships also. So for example, we already had programs that are related to space technology. So before Stamina for Space program, actually we had Phil Microsat or PHL Microsat, which developed the first microsatellite that we had in space. So that was Diwata 1 back in 2016. And then after that, we still had other satellites, future satellites that we developed. So nasundan yung Diwata 1 with Diwata 2, and then we had Maya 1, 2, 3, 4, until 7, until now. And then ongoing din yung Mula satellite. So yes, until now we're focusing on satellite development, but also on the satellite data side. So that's why we also have scholars, for example, Jello, who's working on data science side of, or the downstream side of these fields. So maybe Jello can also explain further on about that side. And also we in the Stamina for Space program. So me and Jello were part of the Step Up project. That is Project 3, which focused on proliferation of space technology through partnerships with universities. And that's why we also have UNISEC Philippines right now. And then also with how Dr. Puryo is working on teaching his students in Adams University, which is, I believe, part of UNISEC. So that is also another way of how we're progressing with space technology, not just with the development, but also with teaching the future generation of space engineers. So Yes, that is my answer.
Okay, thank you, JP. So anything to add from other panel members? Anyone can answer. Or maybe we can proceed. Maybe JP already answered on behalf of the panel members. Maybe we can proceed with other questions, right? So here's another question from a student from Bataga State University, Aaron. So what opportunities await for me or maybe for the graduating students after graduating aerospace engineering program or maybe general for the space related or space adjacent programs? Anyone wants to answer? What opportunities await for me after graduating in aerospace engineering? So that's the question. Maybe we can have the answer from Dr. Julio because he's from academia.
Yeah. This is something that this question is all I always avoid. But there the space and space technology is a very big concept. It's because it not only that you are, doing engineering per se, there are other aspects such as space law, also space economy and so on. So regardless if you are from STEM or you are from other fields, there's always a place for you in space. And what's good about space is this is still um an emerging field wherein there are still a lot of things to explore. So to answer the question, while the Philippine Space Agency together with the academe and the industry is building the space economy for the Philippines, there are lots of aspects or industries also in the Philippines where you can go to after you graduating aerospace engineering. Um, yeah, but for bachelor's students, for example, my suggestion is pursue a master's degree in space or related to space, so that you could deepen your understanding about space and space technology, and maybe later on there are a lot of also opportunities or jobs that is waiting for you in other countries, like startups and also space related um, industries that are available.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Purio. Okay, now let's have a question from Mr. Paul Joshua Villora. So, panel members, what are your advice for those whose undergraduate courses are in the natural sciences slash health slash agriculture who want to venture into career in space industry or sector? Again, what are your advice for those whose undergraduate courses are in the natural sciences, health, agriculture, who want to venture into career in the space industry or sector? Maybe let's have an answer from Jello and Dave because they are from the, um, I mean, Jello at least is a physics graduate, so
Okay.
that's your answer.
Okay, so my general advice would be to follow your curiosity and keep your passion burning, keep your passion for space burning and alive. Because when I applied here and I have known about the background of my colleagues, of my course mates here, we come from different fields. I come from aviation. I have colleagues who come from physics, who come from chemistry, who come from business and economics, who are not fully that are not fully related to science or engineering. And upon the start of the study kasi, meron kang choice to construct your own curriculum. So you have this core modules that are heavily influenced by space, and then you have optional modules or elective modules wherein you can select yung passion or yung sub skills na you want to develop eventually. So it's not always necessarily kailangang engineering yung undergrad mo. It can be anything. It can be about social sciences. It can be about med. It can be about computer. hindi siya kailangan about engineering kasi when you get to your masters, doon mo construct yung modules na gusto mong i-take, and then that will shape you of how you want to become a space professional soon.
Okay, thank you, Angelo. We also have Mr. Derek pala, no? I think he's also a physics graduate, right? So, yeah, and Dave is also from other engineering field. So maybe you have an answer to the question.
Hello.
Hi.
And to add dun sa answer ni Jello. So ako I come from physics. So sa umpisa medyo nag-adjust ako dun sa the way how engineers work in projects. But during the course of my journey in the CubeSat development, na natutunan ko din na like kung paano yung yung process ng pag-develop ng CubeSat and others. So aside from the actual CubeSat development work, the satellite development process and ng products, maraming pwedeng applications yan. So for example, in agriculture, satellite images are very much used in assessing kung okay ba yung crops sa lugar na to, or yung irrigation in this place is enough to para ma-grow yung mga crops, ganun. So yun similar dun sa sinabi ni Jello, depende dun sa passion mo, for example yung kung paano ka mag-slip into the in the space industry sector.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Canceral. I think we have another question here. It might be answered by Mr. Suniga. A question from RJ Ulay. So I would like to ask how advantageous is to have an aeronautical engineering degree if I want to pursue a career in the aerospace industry. So what's the advantage of having an aeronautical engineer?
Hello. So, talking to another aeronautical engineering fellow. So, well, to be honest, medyo may adjustment talaga ako as a aeronautical engineer dito sa space industry. Kasi, well, you are working with other people na have came from other backgrounds and they have different languages. For example, most of our team members are DCE graduates, so konti lang yung understanding ko sa kanilang jargon. Pero as aeronautical engineers, we like to pursue our curiosity sa mga bagay. For example, ako, bakit lumilipad yung airplane? So, ayun, that curiosity that we have for understanding, defining the physics of light enabled me to research more on what they're talking about. And also, in technical sense naman, yung mga margins natin, so for example, yung is well established na 1.5 as a margin of safety sa mga structural sense. Nagagamit siya. And yung engineering background talaga natin, as mentioned, I am the mechanical design engineer sa ang project namin as sa cube satellite na ginagawa namin at the moment. So there are advantages talaga.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Saniga. Yeah. So I know marami pang mga questions, no, ang ating mga participants, but we have a very limited time now. So I'll have the final question for now for our panel discussions for all panel members. So you are all a recipient of different scholarship programs, right? So for local scholarships and international scholarships. So how did you prepare yourself to stand out during the scholarship application process of your respective scholarship program? So, baka pagbigay naman kayo ng tips sa ating mga participants today. Paano kaya mag-stand out sa isang scholarship application process? Or what do you think? Baka may mga tips kayo for sinong gustong mauna? Or ako magtatawag na ulit ako. Siguro let's have again JP for this one. Then let's to be followed by other panel members.
Hello. So honestly, okay. So yung scholarship ko is from JICA, and then yung target niya is government agencies. And then, so hindi talaga siya available for public. So parang tinarget lang yung program, yung projects that are already working on space technology. That is under the government. So yung Stamina for Space program is one of them. So initially, ang pinasabit lang sa amin, if I remember correctly, ay resumes and CVs. So ang maybe general advice lang is if you want to have a scholarship in space, maybe here in the Philippines or outside, is work on your first few years first, or even just bachelor's lang, even in your bachelor's first. Uh, Align yourself in that field, or in our case, or in space, align yourself in the space field already, so that by the time you want to apply for scholarship for master's or PhD, may na-build up ka ng how parang credentials or experience, even if you're just in bachelor's. So, and also align yourself with colleagues that have the same interest. So I think, yeah, that's basic advice I could give if you want to pursue further studies in the future.
Okay, thank you, JP. Yeah, let's have Doc Furio first. Yeah.
Yun. For me, I think it's different because yung DOST Foreign Graduate Scholarship under the Stamina for Space program that time is offered with 3 slots only. I'm not sure if madami yung na-interview, but 3 lang kasi kami dun sa panel na interview that time. But prior to that, I have 2 rejections, PhD application rejections prior to that. So I think the application process is a mix of luck, your hard work, and also your preparation. Because during that time when I'm applying for that scholarship, and I think Doc Bio and other panelists are asking me bakit ko gusto mag PhD. I just told them that I'm already have been looking for PhD for 2 years already. And after that 2 rejections, I think I'm already prepared to go on that next level. And also PhD application in the university plus the scholarship application goes hand in hand. When I'm going to QTech to pursue the Space Engineering International course, I tried to deviate from what the normal research is because ang ginagawa ko talaga before is image processing. So I told Prof. Cho that time na I want to do remote sensing because what I can do is nearer to that rather than building satellites. But the application process might be rigorous for other scholarship programs, but for DOST SEI scholarship, as long as it's within the list of their priority areas, then you're good to go. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Doc. Let's have Mr. Derek for the DOST Step Up Scholarship.
Hello. So, bali for me, yung advice ko, siguro you should also work on dun sa yung motivation mo. Ano yung reason ba't mo gusto pumasok dun sa scholarship, and gaano mo talaga kagusto yung 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 scholarship na yon. Tapos, and from that motivation, maybe you can work on some projects para ma-showcase mo na you're really interested into this course. So like you will do some projects related dun sa gusto mong gawin na research topic or kung ano mang gusto mong i-pursue na course. Ayun. So, also, yung sa akin pala na Step Up Scholarship, unfortunately, uh, natapos na yung Step Up project. So, maybe you can look into yung ERDT scholarship or yung sa PhilSA na Ad Astra na scholarships kung gusto nyo dun, pumasok sa space sector na research or studies.
Okay, thank you, Sir Derek. Speaking of Phil sa Ad Astra, no? So I'll be stopping for now because I will have, so sorry kina Mr. Suniga and Sir Jello, no? Pero they are our Ad Astra scholars. So we'll have more information about the Ad Astra scholarship in our next uh, session. So we will have a scholarship information session from the Philippine Space Agency. So let's have Mr. Marco B. Melgar, the Senior Science Research Specialist of the Space Education and Scholarships Division. Para sa ating po mga panel members, please stay here and later we'll have you for our photo session. Okay, so let's have Mr. Marco first.
Hi,
Yeah,
I hope I'm audible. So, start na ako ng presentation.
okay, sure.
Okay, so magandang hapon sa lahat. So, first of all, we're very glad to be here sa webinar nito. We're also very glad to see some of our scholars. So, you saw Dave, Angelo, and Doc Ino is also a scholar, no? Siya ang una naming graduate actually sa as a scholarship program. We're also thankful for the knowledge shared by our panelists. So, what I'll be sharing, I'll basically run through na lang ito in the interest of time, no, is the PhilSA Ad Astra scholarship program. So, sige, start tayo. So, as you may know, PhilSA is just a fairly young agency, no? Very, very young. We just started 2019. We become operational by 2020. So what I'd like to say is that nag-umpisa pa lang tayo and one of our main goals is to build capability, build a pool of experts that are working in the space science and technology application. So to do that, kailangan nating suportahan ng education and awareness programs yung ating gains na nakukuha sa advanced satellite development and our space data mobilization efforts, which are our flagship programs dito sa Philippine Space Agency. And one of our key development areas is space education and awareness. The other five, you may already know that from the presentations of our panelists. So in terms of space education, ito lang yung snapshot of how we build our human capital in space science and technology applications. So we have programs meant to cater primary and secondary education levels. We have programs for higher education, for the collegiate ranks and postgraduate degrees, and also we have capacity building programs for those in the industry, part of the government, and those other stakeholders. So ito yung plethora of programs we have to build our capability, to build our human resources in space science and technology applications. But for now, we'll focus on the Ad Astra Scholarship, which is Ad Astra stands for Advanced Degrees for Accelerating Strategic Space R&D Applications. So that's why it's called Ad Astra. So Ad Astra, by the name itself, no, ang sinusupport natin ay MS and PhD studies as well as specialized research programs that for those programs that are aligned with PhilSA's key development areas. So we help outstanding Filipinos to pursue local or international postgraduate degrees. So ito yung general areas of studies that we support. So we support not only space science or space engineering, no, we also support programs that are catering space industry, space diplomacy, space law and policy, and space economics. So these are the general areas. As for specific fields, so you can just take a screenshot maybe of this slide. So marami dito ang engineering courses, marami dito sa meron ditong natural science courses, and if you can see doon sa right part of the slide, no, meron din dito no, space education, space industry, space law as mentioned. So these are just some of the fields that you may want to pursue if you want to be part of the Ad Astra Scholarship program. But as for concrete examples, ito po yung mga courses ng ating mga ongoing and completed Ad Astra scholars. So again, you may just take a photo of this, but you can see a lot of engineering degrees here. Interesting courses like MS Biology of Extreme Environments, focusing on astrobiology, geoinformation science, and Earth observation, and others. So I hope you can imagine the lineup of courses or the opportunities that you can pursue if you want to be an Ad Astra scholar. So these are just some of our scholars. Ito yung mga international Ad Astra scholars nito, yung Met Jello. We have also Angie Macasinag, Riva Varela, and Carla Arellano. All of them are studying in Europe. And here our local Ad Astra scholars. Ito po yung ating mga scholar na gumagawa ng ating Maya satellite po. Sila po ay enrolled sa University of the Philippines. So you've met Dave. He's also with Ariel Nopre, Jabiel Villanueva, Jai Pasion Reyes, Ella Tenco, and Miko Zamora. So these are some of our scholars. Of course, I've mentioned Doc Ino is a scholar, and we also have Fritz Olivar as one of our scholars. So all in all, we have 12 Ad Astra scholars today. So for these remaining information, I think I'll just invite you to check our website. No? So basically, we have eligibility requirements to consider if you want to apply to the program. Then we also have these benefits. No, if you become a scholar, ito yung mga coverage ng ating entitlements. Of course, the tuition, the stipends, some allowances, technological support, and other benefits. So yeah, interesting to note here is yung ating support program. So we can connect you with PhilSA engineers to establish close ties no sa pag-push through ng inyong research. So of course hindi na natin tatakal itong mga forms. You have submit forms. These are just some of the process. There is a manual and online application process, so you may check the details doon sa ating website. If you are familiar with other scholarship programs, yung mga kinuha ng ating panelists sa DOST SEI and the JICA scholarship, no, these are very similar scholarship programs. So you can imagine similar processes pagdating naman sa ating Ad Astra scholarship program. So of course, dahil meron kayo makukuha entitlements, there are also obligations. And again, I invite you to check our websites for the detailed explanations. But of course, we will monitor your grades. We will monitor academic records. Titig namin yung inyong conduct and other obligations. Then, of course, you can extend based on merit. Meron tayong exclusivity clause. Meron din tayong grounds for termination. Okay? You can just check that out doon sa ating website. And of course, meron tayong tinatawag na service by absorption into the workforce. So ito yung ating return service, counterpart of our other local scholarship programs. No? So for local scholars, ating hinihingi is an equivalent to the length of time you enjoyed your scholarship. So it's like 1:1. If you enjoy the scholarship for 2 years, then we will ask for service by absorption to the workforce for 2 years. And if you're an international scholar, no, times 2 naman itong service absorption. So that's the service obligation. No? What else? I think I'll skip some of these parts. And I'll just plug this very important information. No? So if you are interested to apply for a scholarship under the Ad Astra scholarship at ang gusto nyong course is in a local university, you still have time. Kung kayo ay magte-take ng second semester or doon sa magi-intake ng January or February 2024, our deadline for application is on October 15. So the other bullets here ay tapos na yung ating application period. So we have an ongoing application period for those interested to apply to local scholarships. Again, it's on October 15, 2023. So that's it for our information session. It's very, very quick now. But if you have questions, you can shoot us an email dito sa scholarships@philsa.gov.ph. So that's it for me, Doc Ino. Thank you.
Yeah. There you have it. Thank you, Mr. Marco Melgar. So the PhilSA Ad-Astra Scholarship Program. So once again, thank you to all our panel members, to our audience and guests. Thank you for your inspiring stories and messages. I am sure that our students and young professionals were enlightened. We will definitely bring your stories with them as they pursue their respective careers in the future. So before we end, let us have a quick photo opportunity with our panelists. All participants and guests, please turn on your cameras and please hold your smiles for a moment as I capture the screen. So please turn on your cameras. Yeah, ang ating mga future scholars or applicants. Okay, let me just take a screenshot of the first frame. Okay, wait. 1, 2, 3, smile. Oh, wait lang. Oh, medyo marami. Okay, next. 1, 2, 3, smile. So for the information of everyone, yung ating participants tonight is 174. Thank you for those who attended. No? So we'll have more activities in the future. So I hope you will support our future activities with SJC and the Philippine Space Agency and with other space organizations. So yeah. So wait lang. Okay. So let's have 4 of 7. Yeah. 4, 5. Yeah. Okay. 5. Okay, 6. And last frame. Okay. Yeah, share na. Okay. So I think that's all for today's webinar. No? So for more information, for more information about SJC, you may visit our website at spacegeneration.org. You may also check on the web page for different opportunities, local and regional events, scholarships, and other networking opportunities within the SJC community. Become a member. So please register on the SGAC webpage and feel free to join different groups and committees. Once again, thank you to our panel members. I'll contact you soon. And to our audience for gracing today's webinar. This is Reynel A. Hinojosa. Happy World Space Week and mabuhay. Thank you, everyone. Bye.